Good afternoon, my friends. My name is Melissa from Melissa's Struggling Walk with Jesus. I am here with you on Saturday, November 8th, sharing the Word of God with you. And today I am going to be working out of month 5, and I will be reading 1 Samuel chapters 3, 4, and 5. So, chapter 3, the title is The Prophetic Call to Samuel, and it says, in verse 1, Now the boy Samuel was attending to the service of the Lord under the supervision of Eli. The word of the Lord was rare and precious in those days. Visions, that is, new revelations of divine truth, were not widespread. Yet it happened in verse 1 where it says under, other Bible literature says before. Verse 2, Yet it happened at that time, as Eli was lying down in his own place. Now his eyesight had begun to grow dim, and he could not see well. And the oil lamp of God had not yet gone out. And Samuel was lying down in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was. That the Lord called, Samuel, and he answered, Here I am. He ran to Eli and said, Here I am, for you called me. But Eli said, I did not call you. Lie down again. So he went and lay down. Then the Lord called yet again, Samuel. So Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, Here I am, for you called me. But Eli answered, I did not call, my son. Lie down again. Verse 7, Now Samuel did not yet know or personally experience the Lord, and the word of the Lord was not yet revealed directly to him. Verse 8, So the Lord called Samuel a third time, and he stood and went to Eli and said, Here I am, for you did call me. Then Eli understood that it was the Lord who was calling the boy. So Eli said to Samuel, Go, lie down, and it shall be that if he calls you, you shall say, Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. So Samuel went and lay down in his place. Then the Lord came and stood and called as at the previous times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, Speak, for your servant is listening. The Lord said to Samuel, Behold, I am about to do a thing in Israel, at which both ears of everyone who hears it will ring. On that day I will carry out against Eli everything that I have spoken concerning his house, family, from beginning to end. Now I have told him that I am about to judge his house forever for the sinful behavior which he knew was happening, because his sons were bringing a curse on themselves, dishonoring and blaspheming God, and he did not rebuke them. Therefore I have sworn to the house of Eli that the sinful behavior of Eli's house, family, shall not be atoned for by sacrifice or offering forever. So Samuel lay down until morning. Then he opened the doors of the Lord's house, but Samuel was afraid to tell the vision to Eli. But Eli called Samuel and said, Samuel, my son. And he answered, Here I am. Then Eli said, What is it that he said to you? Please do not hide it from me. May God do the same to you, and more also, if you hide from me anything of all that he said to you. So Samuel told him everything, hiding nothing from him. And Eli said, It is the Lord. May he do what seems good to him. In verse 18, where it says to him, Other Bible literature says, in his eyes. Verse 19. Now Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and he let none of his words fail to be fulfilled. Check out Joshua chapter 23, verse 14. In verse 19, where it says fail, other Bible literature says fall to the ground. All right, verse 20. And all Israel from Dan in the north to Beersheba in the south knew that Samuel was appointed as a prophet of the Lord. And the Lord continued to appear in Shiloh, for the Lord revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh by the word of the Lord. All right, 1 Samuel chapter 4. The title is Philistines Take the Ark in Victory, and it says, And the word of the Lord through Samuel came to all Israel. Now Israel went out to meet the Philistines in battle, and they camped beside Ebenezer, while the Philistines camped at Aphek. The Philistines assembled in battle formation to meet Israel. And when the battle was over, Israel was defeated by the Philistines, who killed about 4,000 men on the battlefield. When the people, soldiers, came into the camp, the elders of Israel said, Why has the Lord defeated us today before the Philistines? Let us bring the ark of the covenant of the Lord here from Shiloh, so that he may come among us and save us from the hand of our enemies. So the people sent word to Shiloh, and from there they carried the ark of the covenant of the Lord of hosts, who sits above the cherubim, and the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were with the ark of the covenant of God. So it happened that as the ark of the covenant of the Lord came into the camp, all the people of Israel shouted with a great shout, and the earth resounded. When the Philistines heard the noise of the shout, they said, What does the noise of this great shout in the camp of the Hebrews mean? Then they understood that the ark of the Lord had come into the camp. The Philistines were afraid, for they said, God has come into the camp. And they said, Woe! Disaster is coming to us, for nothing like this has happened before. Verse 8. Woe to us! Who will rescue us from the hand of these mighty gods? These are the gods who struck the Egyptians with all kinds of plagues in the wilderness. In verse 8 where it says gods. So even though the Philistines associated the God of Israel with the ark, they still thought in terms of multiple gods. All right, verse 9. Take courage and be men, O Philistines, so that you do not become servants to the Hebrews, as they have been servants to you. Act like men and fight. So the Philistines fought. Israel was defeated, and every man fled to his tent. It was a very great defeat, for 30,000 foot soldiers of Israel fell. Also, the ark of God was taken, and the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were killed. Check out 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 34. All right, verse 12. Now a man from the tribe of Benjamin ran from the battle line and came to Shiloh that same day with his clothes torn and dust on his head, as signs of mourning over the disaster. And when he arrived, Eli was sitting on his seat by the road, keeping watch, because his heart was anxious about the ark of God. When the man arrived to report the news in the city, everyone in the city cried out to God for help. When Eli heard the noise of the outcry, he asked, "What is the noise of this uproar?" And the man came hurriedly and told Eli. Now Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were dim so that he could not see. The man said to Eli, "I have come from the battle line. Indeed, I escaped from the battle line today." Eli said, "How did things go, my son?" The messenger replied, "Israel has fled before the Philistines, and there has also been a great slaughter among the people. Also your 2 sons, Hophni and Phinehas, are dead, and the ark of God has been taken." When he mentioned the ark of God, Eli fell off the seat backwards by the side of the city gate. His neck was broken, and he died, for he was old and heavy, and he had judged Israel for 40 years. Now his daughter-in-law, Phinehas' wife, was pregnant and was about to give birth. So when she heard the news that the ark of God had been taken, and that her father-in-law and her husband had died, she kneeled down and gave birth because her labor pains began. And about the time of her death, following the sudden birth, the woman attending her said to her, "Do not be afraid, for you have given birth to a son." But she did not answer or pay any attention. And she named the boy Ichabod, saying, "The glory has left Israel, because the ark of God had been taken, and because of the deaths of her father-in-law and her husband." She said, "The glory has left Israel, for the ark of God has been taken." All right, 1 Samuel chapter 5. The title is Capture of the Ark Provokes God. In verse 1 it says, "Then the Philistines took the ark of God, and they brought it from Ebenezer to Ashdod." In verse 1 where it says Ashdod, this is one of the 5 major Philistine cities. Verse 2, "They took the ark of God and brought it into the house of Dagon, and set it beside the image of Dagon, their chief idol. When the people of Ashdod got up early the next day, behold, Dagon had fallen on his face on the ground before the ark of the Lord. So they took Dagon and returned him to his place. But when they got up early the next morning, behold, Dagon had again fallen on his face on the ground before the ark of the Lord, and his head and both palms of his hands were lying cut off on the threshold. Only the trunk portion of the idol of Dagon was left on him. This is the reason neither the priest of Dagon nor any who entered Dagon's house step on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod to this day." Verse 6, "Then the hand of the Lord was heavy on the people of Ashdod, and he caused them to be dumbfounded and struck them with tumors, both Ashdod and its territory." In verse 6 where it says tumors, it is possible that this was a type of bubonic plague or infection spread by rats or fleas hosted by rats, as intimated in chapter 6 verse 4. Verse 7, "And when the men of Ashdod saw what had happened, they said, 'The ark of the God of Israel must not remain with us, for his hand is heavy on us and on Dagon our God.'" Verse 8, "So they sent word and gathered all the lords, the governors of the Philistines, to them and said, 'What shall we do with the ark of the God of Israel?' They answered, 'Let the ark of the God of Israel be brought around to Gath.' So they took the ark of the God of Israel there." In verse 8 where it says Gath. Gath was another major Philistine city and the home of their giant warrior Goliath. Faced with the humiliation of surrendering the ark to Israel, the Philistine governors decided instead to treat it like a dangerous hot potato and simply get rid of it by sending it to another city. Verse 9. But it happened that after they had taken it to Gath, the hand of the Lord was against the city, causing an extremely great panic because of the deaths from the plague, for he struck the people of the city, both young and old, and tumors broke out on them. Verse 10. So they sent the ark of God to Ekron, and as the ark of God came to Ekron, the Ekronites cried out, They have brought the ark of the God of Israel from Gath to us to kill us and our people. In verse 10 where it says Ekron, this is a major Philistine city north of Ashdod and near the territory of Israel. In verse 10 where it says us, other Bible literature says me. And in verse 10 where it says our, other Bible literature says mine. All right, verse 11. So they sent word and gathered all the lords of the Philistines and said, Send away the ark of the God of Israel. Let it be returned to its own place, so that it will not kill us and our people. For there was a deadly panic throughout the city. The hand of God was very heavy and severe there. The men who had not died were stricken with tumors, and the cry of the city for help went up to heaven. All right, so that is all of chapters 3, 4, and 5 in the book of 1 Samuel. All right, my friends, have a good day.